welcome to another episode of Drew's Brews Reviews. As always, be sure to check out my website, drewsbrewsreviews.com. Now, what I have today is a very special one that I was actually able to get through a friend of a friend. Very kind to give me one of the top ones probably in the world for this style, which is very interesting considering what it is. This is actually Westbrook's Gose.
So what makes a Gose? Well, Goses tend to have low with cloudy wheat bodies, a dash of salt, and a touch of coriander. They also have a sour backbone from the use of lactic bacteria and tend to have little to no hop flavor. While we're at it, let's go over the beer stats for the Westbrook Gose. The ABV is a lowly 4%. The cost is kind of unknown to me as it was a gift, so I think roughly around $3. The serving temp is a chilly 45 degrees, and the availability is year-round.
All right, so we got that information out of the way. Let's go ahead, crack this one open, and pour it out. Again, this is only one can. I'm just going to use, a single beer glass for this. I chose a Weissen glass as it's a nice tall cylinder, and ones with a heavy carbonation, kind of sour like this, are good out of kind of the straight up and down glasses. So that's the one I'm going with. As I mentioned, this is predominantly a wheat beer, so it's going to be pretty cloudy. You're not going to get a lot of clarity out of this because of the wheat proteins. Got a really decent head retention, especially in this straight up and down glass like this. It's just going to pile on top of each other. It'll bubble up probably fairly quick, but really, really nice head retention. This is going to be great for the aromatics. Mega carbonated, no surprise there. Again, that's a good reason to have it in this taller glass, is the heavily carbonated beers you want in the up and down of a champagne flute style. And looks just about ready to drink, and I don't want to wait too long before getting this one down so the temperature doesn't rise too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a try. All right, so before we drink it, let's smell it. This isn't a very strong aroma because it's not very hopped, so there's not a lot of hops that I'm worried about here. You just get maybe a touch of dull lemon, a little bit of the milky lactic sour from this, and just a little bit of kind of the wheat and the yeast. Not so much bread, but along somewhere in between those two. It's a decent smell. Nothing fantastic, nothing terrible. It's just it's just there. Really, Goses aren't so much about the aromatics as they are about the kind of intenser flavors that are going to happen here. So let's not delay and just get right to it. Whoa, wow. This one goes big. Not afraid to be a sour beer. This is not a Saint Bonchine. This is not something where the sour has been blended with oak and has been backed off and is just kind of there. This is a nicely intense front sour beer. Like right away when you drink it, you get sour, then you get some salt with a nice kind of rich lemony, orange juicy, I should say, maybe not so much lemon, that's a little too bright, more of like an orange juiciness to it with the salt. And that salt really kind of balances out the sweetness nicely. It kind of brings it out and really kind of awakens your tongue to, tasting this. And then it follows it up with a nicer mouthfeel to it. It's got a decent wheat body, and kind of that lactic acid does give it a little bit of a thicker, milky kind of quality to it. All right. Now that I was used to having that sip and I've come back to it after having the first one, it tones down a bit. The subsequent sips are much more pleasant, I guess, in a way. They're not as surprising as the initial one that really just kind of, really changed what was going on in my tongue when I had this. But that's a really nice, really drinkable, tasty ass beer. So I guess that pretty much clearly says what camp I'm in and how I feel about this beer. I highly recommend it for anyone who's into sours, into salty beers, or is looking to do so. So I'd say for Westbrook's Gose and Drew's Brew Reviews, cheers. Excuse me while I get back to this.
Go to drewsbrewsreviews.com for more video and written beer reviews. Follow me on Twitter at drewbrewreviews, leave off the first two S's for savings, and you can friend Drew's Brews Reviews on Untappd.